familia. Welcome to day 3. Feel so much better than yesterday. I have aligned myself with spirit in my light, in my highest truth, to be able to speak from my heart and share authentically my experience, especially with everything going around the world today and everything going on within each of us. So let's begin by burning some sage. I guess depending on the feeling, I'll choose to do this in the beginning of videos. And if you've been called to join on this video, well, thank you and welcome. Let's clear all this energy. Clear all the negative energy. Any darker, lower vibrations. Any limiting beliefs that have held us back from being our true selves. Any beliefs of fear that intimidate us or that make us feel any less than what we really are. Take a deep breath in with me through the nose. Open up the belly, bring it up to the lungs, and bring it all the way to the top of the head. Hold it, and release with a sigh. Let's do one more. Take one more if you need. The breath. The breath is a connection to our divinity, to God, and to the eternal spirit within, above, and around all of us. It is the first sign of life on this planet, the breath, as it is also the last, the breath. George Floyd's last words that echo throughout the masses were, "I can't breathe." Take a breath. Right now we can breathe. And if we are feeling that we can't, there's work to be done. For sure, there's work to be done all around the world, right? We haven't gotten to that point where complete equality is being echoed around. But before we see that echoing around the world, we must begin with ourselves. I'll be sharing a lot about self-work. The journey to self requires a lot of self-work. If there's anything in your life right now that you are not 100% happy with, there's work to be done. And it begins with self-work. Awareness of what it is that we're feeling, what has brought upon these emotions, and what we would like to see. And in the midst of that, there's transformation. So not only is it very important to know what you don't like in your current situation, or what feels off, what doesn't feel good, but it's also equally important to know what would feel good. it's very important to know where it is that you want to go. It's not just, I don't like this, or I don't like this food, or, I mean, it can be simple as anything. I don't like this color for my walls. Okay, so which color do you want to choose? Everything in life is about choices. And the more aware we become of ourselves and our emotions, the more opportunities and choices we see arise around us. At the very least, there are always two choices in any and every situation. And it can be as simple as doing something or not doing something. Those are two choices. I have been on this self journey for many years. And there is a difference of being on the journey with awareness. Knowing that there is work to be done and actually putting effort into changing something. Like Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. And we have to change ourselves first. Because especially now with everything going on, Black people rising up together with larger communities, showing us their point of view, that they have not been treated equally for many years, even though many people may think that there's equal opportunity for everyone. There hasn't. For certain groups of people, there haven't been as many opportunities as for others. But I will say that this is not a time to point fingers either. Because I see a lot of shoulding going around, where some people are expressing their anger and rage by telling other people that they should be doing this or they should be doing that. We're all going through our own process right now. I'm a Hispanic white woman, so I can't identify with Black people and the Black community and everything that they have gone through. However, I have chosen to understand where they're coming from, why they're speaking out, why they're speaking up. And I stand with people sharing their truth. I stand with everyone who wants to share their truth. I also do know that the best way to communicate is in a gentle way through love. And I also understand that feeling every emotion is necessary for our transformation. I understand that it's very important to be aware of every emotion that comes up within us and to address each one. To take each one by one and give it attention. To know why it's coming up. To know, to process it. To transform it. Because a lot of the emotions that are coming up don't feel good. But they're coming up for a reason. So they're asking for attention. not just the people, but the emotions. Everything that happens in the external world is a reflection of our internal world. We'll dive deeper into that concept throughout. That's why I ultimately continue to say that the work begins inside ourselves. I'll be sharing a meditation at the end of this video where we're going to go deep. I want to use it to cleanse ourselves from these lower vibrations and emotions that we're feeling, so we can process them, transform them, and release them into nature. Nature knows what to do with it. God knows what to do with it. Source knows what to do with it. Spirit all around us. We don't have to hold on to everything that we feel. And I don't think we've been taught that before as a society. Everything that I share with you when I'm speaking from my highest truth may or may not resonate with you at the moment. It may stir up some emotion, but it's nothing new. I speak of ancient wisdom, of consciousness that we all have. And we have a choice to be aware of our consciousness and to differentiate our consciousness from everything that is not consciousness. So whatever comes up in each moment, that's what your consciousness and your soul and your being is wanting you to acknowledge at the moment. But what happens in life? We're typically raised in societies where we have many responsibilities, many things that we have to do, and then we stay in a constant, almost like a rat race, right? Like we have to finish this in order to get to this, and we have to do this because we need to do this, and we're always focusing on the future or the past, comparing things to the past, worrying about the future. But the only moment we have is right now. This is the only moment we have to do anything. The future we haven't arrived at yet. You can only plan so much, but as we know, making plans should be very flexible because we don't know what the future holds entirely. And we know exactly what happened in our past, right? But that already ended. We're not there anymore. We have a choice right now to be in this moment right now. To take this moment for what it is. I invite you to take a deep breath with me. Take a deep, deep, deep breath in through the nose. Expand your belly, expand your lungs. Bring it all the way up to the top of your head. And release. Are you okay right now? How are you feeling right now? Without moving your thinking to the future or the past, how are you feeling right now? This is you in this moment. We get to choose how we feel and if we react or not in each moment. knowing that our true self within our soul is pure, it's comfortable, it's awake, it's conscious, and we're safe. Throughout these videos, I'll be talking about the chakras. If you've never heard of a chakra before, we have many chakras in our bodies. These are energy centers, almost like wheels, energy wheels, that can be balanced and can be out of balance. We mostly talk about the main 7 chakras that line up with the spine. And just like a line where one thing is stacked above the other, if the first chakra, which is right at the base of our spine, is not balanced, none of the other ones can be balanced either. So we're going to focus today on balancing our root chakra. It's the first chakra. The color is a vibrant burgundy red, a deep, bright red. And the root chakra symbolizes stability. If you can imagine the roots of a tree, we don't notice that when we see a very large, high tree, their roots are much wider than their height that we see, because their roots have been growing since the beginning, since before they started to flourish higher. And that's what we need to do here. We need to have a strong foundation, a strong base. Because when your roots are strong, the wind that comes along feels nice and doesn't really affect how much you move, because your roots are strong. We need to have standards for ourselves. I invite you either to pause this video or later take some time and write down some standards for yourself. Things that you want to live by. We're each going to have different standards, things that are important to us at this moment. I will say, make sure what you write down is in a positive statement instead of, I don't want this to happen. Speak in terms of things that you do want to happen or experiences that you do want to have. Your standards of building a connection with everyone that you meet, building a relationship. In order to have a relationship, we don't have to agree on everything. But we can honor and respect each other's opinions, however far-fetched they might be from each other. But when we honor and respect ourselves, it's easier to honor and respect others. Reminding you that all the work begins with ourselves. I work with the frequency of love. I understand that love may stir up different emotions in each person. Because even though some people have told us they love us, they haven't expressed it in the way that has connected with us. At least in a good way. Or in a positive way, in a receptive way, where we are able to appreciate another person's love for us. Words have vibrations. and they have power. We are very powerful beings. And dependent on how much power we believe we have is how much of an effect we can make in the world. We can make on ourselves. But our thoughts have power and vibration. Our words, our actions, our movements. Like a ripple. Can you imagine throwing a rock in the middle of a body of water? And you can clearly see where the rock dropped. And then you see all the ripples. Each time we think a thought, we send it out and it ripples. Each time we speak a word, it ripples. And do you know what happens with those ripples? They always come back to us. You may have heard of the word karma. Many people have different views on karma. People have heard of good karma, bad karma. But I do agree that ultimately every action, thought, word we send, even if we're alone, the vibrations move away and come back. And depending how much power or force we use is how much power and force they will return. We create our reality. We have so much power. Love you all so much. Thank you for staying tuned in with me. Let's begin our little meditation. Today I'm going to use a song by my sweet sister, soul sister and tribe. She writes beautiful music. And this song is called Lluvia. It's in Spanish. I'll translate the meaning after. But even if you don't speak Spanish, I'm sure you will benefit from the vibration within this song. She wrote this song when the fires were spreading around the world. Lluvia means rain. Water is so sacred. We're made of 70% water. Our bodies, our planet is 70% water. Our cells, 70% water. There's more water than anything. And water is fluid. Water is cleansing. Water can also be strong and forceful and powerful. Just like love. True love loves so hard that it accepts wherever you are, but it also pushes you to expand to your highest potential because it knows that you deserve better. Love knows of your self-worth. Love wants the best for you. Let's give ourselves some self-love. Take some time for ourselves. It's going to be about a 7-8 minute meditation now. Get into a comfortable position. You can be sitting down, laying down. Take a deep breath in. let all of that go. Relax your thoughts, relax your mind. And for these few minutes, just be. I'll give you a book recommendation as soon as we're done here.
Ouch, 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 ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Bajo tu manto de reina, bajo tu velo de virgen y tu corazón de madre. De la cabeza a los pies, nuestras almas, nuestros espíritus y nuestros cuerpos. Gracias, madre. Gracias, mamá Concha. Medicina, medicina Vaikuruna. Ayahuasca, medicina Romaimanto. Curanampa los presentes. Curanampa espíritu mío. Curanampa cuerpo manta mataikuna. Shamara kupara, shamara kupara. Shamara kupara, shamara kupara. Shamara naranay. Shamara naranay. Arcani arcanashikuna con cuerpo mantaikuna. Sinchi, sinchi, doctorcita. Sinchi, sinchi, medicina de la selva.
Hay fuego dentro de mí, hay fuego quemando la selva. El fuego es el grito de desesperación. Hay haga, calma ese fuego. Lluvia cae ante mí, te pido, te rezo, agüita. Lluvia cae ante mí, agüita, sana la floresta.
Take a deep breath in through the nose. Release.
We pray for the water. We pray for the healing of the water, of all waters. The waters in the rivers, the oceans, the seas, the lakes, all over the world. We understanding and honoring that it's all one great water. We pray for humanity to wake up and rise up to protect and preserve the sacredness of this precious element of water. Praying humanity can understand the water inside of us is also precious and sacred. To serve the Mother, our great Mother, the Mother Earth, is to serve ourselves. We pray for rain, cleansing rain. Agüita bendita, llega a las tierras secas. Bless the lands needing you. Heal and bless our lungs, the Amazon, and all the forests, jungles, and natural lands helping sustain us. We are united in this prayer. We are visionaries, and we can see a chance for the healing of this earth and its water for the future generations. And so it is. Aho, haush, haush.
Lluvia, cae ante mí, llega a las tierras secas. Lluvia, cae ante mí, llega a las tierras secas.
Take a nice, deep cleansing breath in through the nose. Fill up that belly, those lungs, bring it all the way to the top of the head. And push it out. Releasing all those beliefs that are not in alignment with our truest self. Those beliefs of separation. Those beliefs of anxiety, of fear. We either choose to be in the vibration of fear or the vibration of love. We cannot hold both in any given moment. In the beginning of our transformation, we might go back and forth because it requires practice. As I've mentioned, it requires work, self-work. And it becomes easier. Like everything in life, it requires practice, but it becomes easier. It becomes first-hand nature. I want to thank you for taking this time for yourself. for joining me, for sharing in the love frequency, where all things are possible, all things are healing. I want to give you a book recommendation that has helped me so much. You might see this backwards. The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Because now is the only moment we got. Each moment it's now. But we've trained our minds in the past to plan for the future and focus on the future. And it's great to have a vision. It's great. Like where you want to be in 5 years, where do you want to be in 10 years? That's all great. But always bring the awareness back to the now. Always do self-check-ins. How am I feeling right now? Do it a few times throughout the day. I do this so often now that I don't have to ask myself the question like, hey Priscilla, how are you doing? I just know. I'm focused in on how I'm feeling. Because when you focus in on how you're feeling, you know how everything is in alignment in your body. And how everything is resonating, how everything is rippling out. I want to have so many highlights in this book. So let me just open up to a divine page. I do this often, especially with with magical books that share great messages that make you feel good. At any moment, you can just open to a random page and it will be the perfect page for the message that you need to receive at that moment. But there's a level of trust there that we're divinely guided, that we're divinely supported. I'll share that I think we can realize that almost everything on this planet is temporary. The trees won't last forever. We, as a body, won't last forever. On this planet, things grow and they bloom, and then they wither and die. But that does not hold true for our soul. Our soul is energy. It is eternal. Remember from physics? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It has always existed and will always exist. You are part of it. I am part of it. We're part of the energy that cannot be created nor destroyed, but it will always shift and transform. And we always have the choice of where we want to shift to, how we want to transform. So the page I opened to is 58, and let's see. This is deep stuff, ready? So the way that this book is set up is a question-answer format, where it's almost like a reporter asking Eckhart Tolle what he knows about the power of now. So the question is, I can see the supreme importance of the now, but I cannot quite go along with you when you say that time is a complete illusion. This is Eckhart Tolle. When I say time is an illusion, my intention is not to make a philosophical statement. I am just reminding you of a simple fact. A fact so obvious that you may find it hard to grasp and may even find it meaningless. But once fully realized, it can cut like a sword through all the mind-created layers of complexity and problems. Let me say it again. The present moment is all you have. There is never a time when your life is not this moment. Is this not a fact? Love this book. This has shifted my way of thinking in my mind. A few things he went over in this book, in this short statement. And I'll keep it short because I see I'm already at 41 minutes. The mind. The mind is a complex organ. So complex that scientists still haven't figured out everything about it. But the mind will wither and die along with the body. So we are not the mind. We have control over the mind. But the mind is so beautiful and so powerful that whatever we do more and more of, the mind stores it as, okay, let's keep doing this. So much so that over 95% of our thoughts every day and our actions every day are identical to the previous day. We don't even have to think about breathing. We don't have to think about digesting our food. We don't have to think about... There's so many things that we don't have to think about because it's in the subconscious. The mind has already stored it and does it on our own so we can focus on something else. However, our mind has also been trained for survival, which is a good thing, right? It's helped our ancestors be attacked by a bear. It helps people nowadays. But the thing is that when we live in a fear-based mind, where we're always in a fight or flight mode, where our stress levels are high because we're fearful, when we're living in survival mode, we're not thriving. And that's the root chakra that I was talking about earlier. The root chakra is that stability. If you don't feel stability where you're at right now, there's no way to grow or expand from that. We have to feel stable in order to expand. So the root chakra is the place, your shelter. It's if you have food to eat and nourishment. If you have water to drink. If you have money. Money is a form of energy exchange. But money also does solve a lot of issues, you know. So if you have all your needs met, then you can grow and expand. And you will no longer be in survival mode. But our brain is trained for generations to think a certain way. And speaking of generations, there's generational trauma that goes on. Because something that may have affected our great-grandparents, grandparents, or anywhere before gets passed down in the way that they teach their children and that their children teach their children. And until someone in that line decides to shift the belief, because it may have held true during one moment in time. But if you look at the moment now and say, it's not holding true for me right now in this moment, if right now in this moment I am safe, I'm protected, I feel good, then we can let go of that belief because it's no longer pertinent to right now. It doesn't make sense to have a thought that I'm not okay when I do in fact feel okay. So it is practice, it is work, for that when every thought and belief starts to come into our consciousness, into our awareness, we look at it. And then we decide from there, if we like it, let's keep it. But if we don't like it, how can I shift it? What would I like to believe instead? We create our own reality. Your thoughts and your beliefs are valid. Your emotions are valid. Experience them. They want to be experienced. Share them if that's what you choose to do in this moment. But if they don't feel good, shift them. Shift yourself. Shift your emotion. That's why I always bring it back to the breath. Because the breath, with one breath, one deep, real good breath, you can connect to your true self that's always connected to God. And that's where I was going earlier with that everything on this planet withers and dies eventually. There's one constant in life. I know we've all heard that saying, the only constant in life is change. Absolutely, I do agree with that. However, there is one constant that we can always hold on to, which is a strong pillar of light coming directly from Source, from God, that wraps each one of us and is always available around us, but we have to choose to grab onto it. We have to choose to be with it, to be united with it. It's always a choice because we were given free will. All right? We can do whatever we want right now. We'll get more deeper into all of these topics, and because you might be thinking I can't do whatever I want. And many of those things are limiting beliefs that have been created in the past, that are showing up now, that are calling for your attention to it now. Because if it doesn't feel good, if you don't like it, you have the choice to change it and alter it. And sometimes a complete 180, like a complete shift. Like, I really don't know what I was thinking about that so long. Or whatever it may be. So I love you all so much. I have my little rose quartz. These are crystal stones, which are so magical, so pure. I'll be talking more about them. Sending you so much love. Have a beautiful day.